Hey guys, so I'm out here working on the carburetor again. Gotta take off the upper section of this carburetor so I can get to the accelerator pump right here that broke. So these are Torx screws, so I got my Torx drive. I need to pull off all of these little Torx screws holding on the upper end of this carburetor. I already pulled the linkage off right there. I'm gonna have to detach this throttle linkage right here too. And I think there's something else on the other side I might have to pull off. I see the fuel line right there, so it connects to the upper. So that might need to be pull that fuel line. Anything else in the way? Pulling this upper off. You can see where upper and lower. Upper, lower. And these Torx screws hold it together. So, time to start taking that apart. That's one. These Torx screws weren't on very tight. They seem to be just hand tightened. It's two. Three. Four. So I got half of the screws out. Four on this side. And I need to do the four on the other side to remove all these linkage. And the fuel pump or fuel line, so I can pull this upper section of the carburetor off and get to this accelerator pump that broke. Okay, this one has a ground on it, so I'll have to note that and make sure it gets back to the same spot. Write a note, ground on back passenger side Torx screw. Like that, you can ground it to any of them, but that's just most convenient and looks out of the way. So this ground wire right here. It's back here on this. There's three more of these screws. And this driver has like a magnetic hold on the bit. There's a little magnet at the end that keeps it in place so it doesn't slide out, which is nice. And it also helps grip onto these little Torx screws when they come out. Of course, I think the bits are not very conductive. And that's the last screw holding in the upper. So here's all the 8 Torx screws. They all are about, they look the same length to me. They're an inch long. So I got those out. Now I gotta take off this linkage right there, and there, and the fuel line. Pull the entire upper off, and then replace this accelerator pump right here. So I got the Torx screws out. You can see there's the ground wire back there that was bolted in place. There's some more. There's a open Torx hole bit holes, or screw holes, excuse me. So, time to disassemble the linkage. So there's these little, like, Carter pin, or not Carter pins, but other type of pins holding all stuff together. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna undo this screw right here, pull that off, and then pretty sure there's a little pin on the back side of this thing holding this linkage in that I just have to pull off. The camera can see it. Let me see if I can see it in the viewfinder of the camera. Yeah, there's a little pin holding that in that I'll just need to pull out and disconnect this little rod right here, and then I should be able to. I'll have to take the fuel line off right here. Make sure I don't leak fuel everywhere. That shouldn't be too hard. It's a metal line and I have a little rubber hose on the end of it. See? So my fuel line is metal, and then I got this little rubber section where I could take it out and throw a fuel filter on. But I got my fuel filter down there, so directly out of the tank, the gas tank goes there before it hits my fuel pump. So that saves the fuel pump, and then the fuel pump pumps the fuel to my carburetor. Most people will throw the filter right in front of the carburetor, right there. At least you can order them, and that's what Edelbrock kind of recommends. But I think it's better to have the protection further down the line, and you also save your fuel pump from getting clogged with crap coming out of your fuel tank. So let me undo this linkage and we'll move on. So last time when I pulled this little pin that holds it off, it shot off. I had to spend a few minutes looking for it. So I'm gonna be a little bit more careful when I pull that off this time. Lucky me, didn't drop it that time. Go put this somewhere safe, not lose it. Got it. So these linkage connectors are disconnected. That one doesn't have it on the back side. Let me see if this rod will just pull out now. And that can just right there, that fell. See, when I touch this, it adjusts that. Anyway, before I pull this fuel line off, I am going to go make sure I haven't done anything wrong so far. But yeah, it said there's only 8 torque screws holding it down, so I removed those. Must be the gasket that's kind of giving me some resistance when I try to pull it on. And another tip was to, when I remove the upper air horn section, to tilt it from the front to the back to try and prevent any fuel from spilling out. So I'm going to do that. Let me throw this rag I got. Here. It's a rag. Here's the fuel line. Pull this under there. Like that. And that'll catch it. Okay, it's off. Line disconnected. I should be able to pull this thing off. I didn't see any fuel spill out onto the rag. I guess that's a good thing, right? So this upper. Ooh, okay. stuck on there a little bit. Didn't break anything. Some linkage on the other side I forgot to pull off. Fuck. I'm fucking up my clips and stuff. So what is stuck on the other side? This thing right here. I forgot to do this. Got it. I can't believe I missed this in the first part. Let's undo that. Now this thing should roll back. Okay. Got the upper section off. There's the carburetor. There's a broken accelerator pump over there. I'm gonna set this down somewhere upside down for safekeeping. Cleaned off a spot over here. Okay, so it's upside down, just chilling there. There's the upper section of my carburetor. It's dirty. Okay, let's get back over to here. Here is my carburetor inside. So here's the accelerator pump. Here you can see the spring looks weird. Bowed out. That's probably why it was doing the weird hesitation thing. So that's off. So right now I'm just inspecting the lower section. Make sure there's nothing that looks broken or damaged. Looks good. A little dirty, but good. By dirty, I mean ethanol deposits right there. So this is my accelerator pump right here. Look how bad it looks. Gross. That's the old one. You can see the spring is warped on this one. Look at that. So that was probably giving me a problem. And that causing a bog. So there should be another spring it sits on. That's down there. That looks pretty straight. But it's a stock one. I didn't order a replacement spring for that, so the new accelerator pump is just going to go right on top of that. I'm going to drop the upper section of the carburetor back in. The one I ordered versus the old one. The old one has a broken piece right there. Let me take this out of the container. There you go. Here's new versus old. can see some differences. This one looks stronger because it's wider right here on this piece, the white plastic. Then that black piece, it gets narrower. And the sleeve over here, this black one, is longer than this white sleeve too. So it looks like this is the better part compared to the original stock piece. Has the same eye hole, but slightly different. Okay, so you can also see all the ethanol deposits, or gasoline, whatever you want to call it. So here's the upper section upside down on the bench. Let's inspect the gasket while it's out. Looks pretty good from this side. I don't see any tears or holes or anything. Looks good to me. Okay. Midsection looks good too. Just super dirty under that air valve, or butterfly valve. Okay. Drop this bad boy in. So there's a spring. That's just gonna sit on top of it. Like so. Okay. It worked. Okay. Now I need to drop the upper back on this thing, which is gonna be tough. Okay. Hey guys, well, it's time to put this upper back on now that I got that in. So I'm gonna set this back up over here. Hopefully you can see me do this. It's that little thing it's gonna go through. Push it back in. Okay, it's through the slot. Yeah, I got it through the slot. Kind of was annoying. Hard to get this thing back on. So I got it back on, but I had to undo this. So one of the, what do you call it, the rods was preventing it from lining up, because they have a little play. So I undid one of the, with the, I don't know, the lid on it, rotated so it could go down. Now I gotta push it back down and slide this cover back over. Just gonna push this down. It's in the hole now that I got it adjusted in. It goes down freely. So I'll just turn the cover over it. Everything's still flush. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna put some screws in so it doesn't move around. There's all the screws I took out. I'm gonna grab these. Just gonna grab one at a time. Put them back in. So this one right here. I'm just gonna do finger tight for now until I get all of them in place, and then I'll do like the star tightening down method. Other side. Back over here. Again. I don't know if this is final screw or not. I got it double. I think this is okay. It's back on. This white thing is the new accelerator pump. Sticking out, the linkage is off still. So I need to put that back together. This part back together. And this one on the side back together. And I gotta put that fuel line back on. Then you start it up, see if it works. Okay, fuel line's back on. Now you tighten it up. Tightening up the fuel line hose clamp. So I don't want this thing just blowing gasoline all over the motor bay. It pumps off, that would suck. Okay, that's on pretty tight. So I got the linkage all back on. Now I need to put these little clamps in. That one's on. Middle. Clamped in, clamped in. That I got hooked back up too. Fuel lines hooked back up. There. I need to put these little clamps back on to hold them in. Got that one on. I'm gonna do the other two. Back side right there. Okay, now I gotta go to the other side. Back on. Okay, pull this away. Oh, I forgot to hook up this ground back here. I left it dangling. I'm gonna put that back on. And then this thing, I think, is ready. Let's get this back on. I can throw that back on right now. There we go. Linkage comes off. Check. Back in. Good. Now I gotta snap that little pin back in. Looks good. Nothing binds. So we're good.